When footage of Isabella Guzman's court appearance went viral on TikTok, she was unexpectedly idolized by some social media users for her looks and aesthetic. Some even dressed in orange jumpsuits and mimicked her mannerisms and facial expressions. This fascination largely stemmed from the disbelief that someone who looked like Isabella could commit such a crime, reflecting a misguided notion that looks dictate a person's potential for violence. Isabella Guzman was born on June 19, 1995 in Aurora, Colorado, to parents Yunmi Hoy and Robert Guzman. When Isabella was only 4 years old, her parents divorced. Yunmi remarried soon after to a man named Ryan Hoy. The relationship between Isabella and Yunmi became very strained. Some reports attribute this tension to financial issues, with Isabella not understanding the family's limitations. Yunmi's remarriage further deteriorated their relationship. Isabella struggled to accept that her mother had moved on, a common reaction among children. The situation became so difficult that when Isabella was 7, she had to move in with her father for a period of time. There isn't much information about Isabella Guzman's childhood, but it is known that she was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Her parents, Yunmi and Robert, as well as her stepfather Ryan, were all part of the faith. At the age of 14, Isabella decided to leave the religion, which created further tension between her and her mother. The following years were challenging, but relatively uneventful until 2013, when Isabella turned 18. Tensions continued to escalate due to various issues, such as Isabella frequently bringing boys into the home against house rules, and her desire to drop out of school despite being close to graduation. In August of that year, the situation worsened. Isabella's behavior towards her mother became increasingly threatening and disrespectful. During one particularly heated argument, Isabella spat on Yunmi, leaving her mother deeply shocked and frightened. This unprecedented act of aggression alarmed Yunmi, and her fear was justified as the events of the following day would tragically confirm. On August 28, 2013, Yunmi received a threatening email from Isabella in the morning. Part of the email read, "You will pay." The fear Yunmi felt the previous day intensified, leading her to call the police despite her initial hesitation. The police conducted a welfare check on the home and spoke with Isabella, informing her that her mother had the legal right to remove her from the home due to her age, and advised her to improve her behavior towards Yunmi. Afterwards, Yunmi went to work and called Robert, asking him to talk to Isabella. Robert spoke about their conversation, saying, "I went to talk to Isabella, and we sat down in the backyard looking at the trees and the animals, and I started to talk to her about the respect that people should have for their parents." He later told 7 News, "I was trying to let her know that she should be obedient to her parents, not rebellious, and that she should try to listen more. Everything was going fine in the conversation. I thought that I made progress, but obviously it didn't do anything because hours later, this thing happened." The event Robert referred to was the murder of Yunmi Hoy. Yunmi returned home around 9:30 p.m. and, after a brief conversation with Ryan, decided to take a shower. While she was upstairs, Ryan remained downstairs eating dinner. Suddenly, he heard a thumping noise coming from the bathroom, followed by Yunmi calling out his name. Ryan rushed to the bathroom and saw Isabella standing inside. She quickly closed and locked the door before Ryan could stop her. Once the door was locked, chaos erupted inside the bathroom. Yunmi's screams filled the air as Ryan ran to get his phone to call 911. By the time he returned to the bathroom door, blood was pooling on the floor outside. The last word Ryan heard Yunmi say was, "Jehovah." Then, everything went silent. When the door finally opened, Isabella stood in the doorway holding a knife. Without saying a word, she walked past Ryan, staring straight ahead. Ryan informed the 911 operator that Isabella had left the house wearing a pink sports bra and turquoise shorts. She was still holding the knife and was covered in blood. What Ryan discovered was devastating. Yunmi lay naked on the bathroom floor, covered in blood, having been stabbed 79 times, though later reports suggested the number might be as high as 151. Ryan attempted to perform CPR, but he could tell she was dead from her blank stare at the ceiling. Emergency services arrived shortly after and found Yunmi on the bathroom floor with a baseball bat next to her. She was pronounced dead at 10:28 p.m., just an hour after returning home from work. The autopsy revealed 31 stab wounds to her face and 48 to her neck. The attack was both brutal and cold-blooded, believed to have started with the baseball bat before Isabella switched to the knife. The police launched a manhunt for Isabella, who was not found in the home or backyard. Her photo was released to the media with a public warning that she was dangerous, possibly armed, and should not be approached. The police attempted to track her cell phone, but it had been turned off, leading to a dead end in the search. Isabella was soon located after a member of the public reported a possible dead body in a car parked in a parking garage on August 29th. The caller had seen someone covered in blood inside the vehicle. However, by the time police arrived, the body was gone. Upon searching the car, officers found items linking it to Isabella and realized that the supposed dead body was actually Isabella asleep. Around 2 p.m. that day, Isabella was spotted near the parking garage and was arrested. Although she was scheduled to be formally charged the following Thursday morning, she refused to leave her cell, causing the judge to reschedule the court appearance to the afternoon. During the court hearing, which was captured on viral TikTok footage, Isabella was seen smirking and making faces at the courtroom camera while facing charges of first-degree murder, among other counts. Her behavior appeared to show a lack of understanding of the gravity of the situation. Since she had turned 18 in June, she was eligible for the death penalty and was being charged as an adult, yet her demeanor seemed remarkably childlike. Isabella was held in jail without bond until her trial, which was scheduled for 2014, about a year after she murdered her mother. Prior to the trial, the defense requested a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity, citing a medical examination that diagnosed Isabella with schizophrenia. They argued that Isabella's mental state had rapidly deteriorated in the period leading up to Yunmi's murder. Reports indicated that about a month before the crime, Isabella began hearing voices and referred to Yunmi as Cecilia. The defense contended that Isabella had come to believe Yunmi was this Cecilia character and felt she needed to kill Cecilia to save the world. Both the prosecution and the judge accepted the insanity plea. Isabella Guzman was subsequently found not guilty by reason of insanity for the murder of her mother. She was then transferred to a mental hospital, where she was to remain indefinitely until it was determined that she no longer posed a risk to herself or others. In November 2020, Isabella Guzman spoke publicly for the first time since the murder of her mother. She expressed that she was not herself at the time of the crime and stated that she was ready to rejoin society. Isabella also disclosed details about her childhood, claiming she was abused by her family from a young age, with the abuse intensifying after she left the Jehovah's Witnesses. However, it's important to note that there is no evidence to support these claims of abuse. It is likely that Isabella will eventually have the opportunity to reintegrate into society, as there is a noticeable difference in her demeanor between the early court videos and her more recent interview footage. While it's clear that Isabella was suffering from mental illness at the time of her mother's murder, it is hoped that she has received the necessary treatment to address her issues. Nevertheless, this does not bring Yunmi back, nor does it alter the traumatic experience Ryan Hoy faced on that night in 2013. Isabella's latest interview leaves me with a sense of lacking remorse. She appears detached from the gravity of her actions and the impact on her mother. This detachment is apparent in her choice of language, as she avoids terms like killed or murdered, despite the severity of her crime. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you consider her guilty or not? Stay alert and informed until next time.